Hey there, welcome back to Throne FC. Since we're in the transfer season, I've decided to create this video in order to open up some eyes regarding the players that your club absolutely shouldn't sign. These players will probably look appealing in the current market, but like I've always heard, sometimes a bargain isn't a bargain and you get what you pay for. Whether it's because of injuries, lack of focus, or simply lack of quality for an elite level, these 10 players have underperformed and might not be the best fit for the best teams in the world. So let's dive in and explore the cautionary tales of these 10 football players. Kicking off our countdown, we have a player who undoubtedly possesses world-class talent, but has often been plagued by controversies and injuries. I'm obviously talking about Neymar. Neymar, the man with the golden hair and the golden feet, but also the golden propensity for drama. Neymar's ability on the pitch is still undeniable, but his frequent injuries and off-field distractions have raised concerns. Besides, although he plays a beautiful style of football, I don't know if he can adapt to new dynamics if necessary in this new phase of his career. I see that some clubs are really interested in the Brazilian superstar, and a new project could light up the fire back in Neymar. But is he really worth the risk? He would demand a massive wage, and it's not like he's getting any younger. I see many players who could do the same thing he currently does that wouldn't demand as much money from clubs and that still have much more in the tank than him. Clubs should really carefully consider the impact his unpredictability may have on team dynamics. At number 9, we have one of Neymar's teammates, Renato Sanchez. Renato burst onto the scene as a young talent with so much promise, and after being fundamental to Portugal's Euro 2016 conquest, he even won the Golden Boy Award. He got his dream move to Bayern in the same year, but has failed to live up to expectations. His career trajectory has definitely been a bumpy road, with some instances where he showed how great he was, but most of his time has been spent on the bench or on the nursing room. Renato's inconsistent performances and inability to find his form at big clubs should undoubtedly make teams think twice before signing him. It's crucial to consider a player's adaptability and mental fortitude when making such decisions, and as much as it hurts to say, Renato clearly lacks that. Moving on to number 8, we have another former Benfica player hyped even more than Renato Sanchez. I'm talking about Joao Felix. Felix became the most expensive Portuguese player of all time in 2019, but his move to Atletico Madrid proved to be quite disappointing. Although he won the league, which is something many Atletico legends failed to achieve, Felix never became the superstar Atletico expected him to be when they paid £108 million to Benfica. You can say that his choice of clubs hasn't been the best, especially if you consider his loan move to Chelsea this year, but adaptability is key. And I think his biggest problem is the pressure that has been put on his shoulders from a very young age. The guy was still a teenager and he was already being hailed as the next leader of his country after Ronaldo. Then the expectation to be at Messi and Ronaldo's level, that destroys anyone. In my opinion, he could probably thrive in a very specific group of clubs, like Barca and City, but even then, wouldn't the pressure be too much for him? Now let's talk about defensive liabilities, and at number 7, we have a player who represents that better than anyone, Harry Maguire. The infamous slabhead, Harry Maguire. His forehead might be strong, but his defensive prowess has raised a few eyebrows. In all fairness, Maguire isn't a bad defender per se. You could argue that Man United paid way more than what they should for him, but his performances with England show that he can be a very decent defender in a comfortable environment, especially if he doesn't have to press like he does at Man United. Either way, Maguire's lapses in concentration and lack of agility have made him a target for opposing attackers. In fact, sometimes it even feels like your opponents have one extra player when Maguire is in the field. In my opinion, clubs should really consider the overall defensive stability and the style of play that they desire before considering Maguire for their squads. Speaking of divisive figures, at number 6, we have a player who has divided opinions amongst fans and experts for about a decade now, Paul Pogba. The enigmatic Paul Pogba, the man with $1 million smile and $1 million price tag. But does his performances always match the hype? His first stint with Juve showed how great he can be, but after his time with Man United was up, many people start to question if he was really that good at Juve, or if it was just Pirlo that made him look so special. Besides, Pogba's inconsistency and occasional off-field distractions have led some to question his commitment and focus. and after 2 seasons where he has barely had any impact in football, it's starting to look super unlikely that the French midfielder will ever make a proper comeback. If any club wants to sign him, they should carefully evaluate whether his flamboyance aligns with the team's philosophy and if his performances can be consistent enough to warrant such a significant investment. I think that he would be a perfect fit to the MLS, where the expectations are nearly as high as in Europe and where his shenanigans wouldn't be so criticized. Moving on to number 5, we have a young talent who has shown glimpses of brilliance but still has much to prove, Ferran Torres. Coming from the Etihad, there were many expectations on Ferran to be a consistent goal threat to Barca's opponents, but that didn't happen at all. In his past season, with double the matches, he contributed even less, and after giving him the highest release clause in the world, Barca now looking to get rid of him. You could argue that his inclusion here is too harsh, and in a way, I kind of agree. It's not like he will be out of his element at a team like Sporting, Osasuna, or Sassuolo for example, but I still maintain my opinion that he shouldn't go to any top team, and at more than £20 million for him is bad business by any club. Now let's talk about a player who has also flopped at Barca, Sergino Dest. Dest, the young American prodigy, impressed everyone during his stint with Ajax. Barcelona came knocking on his door, and at the time, it felt like that was the right move for everybody involved. Dest would join a club where many former Ajax players have succeeded, and Barcelona had potentially found themselves a right back for many years to come. But his offensive vulnerabilities and occasional lapses in positioning highlighted the need for further development. So he was loaned out to AC Milan, but his move was a total failure and Dest has barely played this year. At this point, it's clear that he's not ready to be number 1 right back in any top team. The question now is if he will ever become more than just a prospect. Speaking of players that never fulfill their potential, Dele Alli. Dele Alli, the English maestro, once had us believing in his magic, but nowadays the only magic that he sees is when he's nailing his laughing gas. That talk from Jose Mourinho a couple of years ago became more than just a prediction. It turned into a massive spoiler, with the Englishman failing not only to become a star at Spurs, but also in every club he's been ever since he left North London. He was not good enough for Everton and was kicked out of the Besiktas team. He doesn't show any passion on the field or on the training ground. And to make it worse, the guy is in controversy after controversy, and at 27 years old, I really don't see much left for him than to either retire or go back to MK Dons. Moving on to number 2, we got our favorite constipated pigeon, Richarlison. Don't get me wrong, sometimes the Brazilian powerhouse can be a force to be reckoned with, but hey, sometimes doesn't win championships. Maybe that's why he's with Spurs. The guy scored 1 goal during last season's entire Premier League campaign, all the while he was criticized the coach for the team's bad performances and for not giving him more minutes. I think that what makes it even more ridiculous is his lack of awareness. He complains and cries for more game time when he can't even outperform Son, and let's not even talk about Harry Kane, who scored 30 goals in the Prem last year. Richarlison's wastefulness in front of goal and lack of consistency should be considered before making a significant investment. And finally, at the top of our list, we finish with a king, a Burger King, Eden Hazard. Eden Hazard, the Belgian wizard who used to leave defenders chasing shadows, but lately, I don't feel like he can even run anymore. It's like he recently said, he has been resting for 3 years, and by the time you're watching this video, he's a free player to sign with any club. He says he wants to continue playing, unlike many reports that said he wanted to see out his contract with Real and retire in the next year. And I definitely think he should continue. The streets won't forget how good he was with Chelsea and the immense impact that he had in the Belgian national team. The thing is, in 2023, I don't think that the 32-year-old Hazard can add much to any top team. His fitness issues are well documented and his salary demands will probably continue to be high. Unfortunately, Hazard's time in Europe is up, and if it isn't, his next destination won't probably be in any serious title contention side. And there you have it, the 10 football players that your club should think twice about signing. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to Thorn FC, give us a thumbs up, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a single video from Thorn FC. Until next time, keep analyzing, keep debating, and keep loving the beautiful game.